Hello and welcome back. This is Soul Damn Good. My name is Lauren, and today we are looking at the birth chart of Mrs. Blake Lively Reynolds. And this is the beauty herself. I'm a big fan of Blake Lively in her early years as the Gossip Girl what's her name? Serena Vanderwoodson. I loved that show. And then also I loved The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Blake Lively has been, a beautiful woman in the spotlight for a long time now. So recently she has been coming under fire for a lot of different things. Really, it's like a pile up of seemingly smaller things, but basically her personality is just not hitting with the public. And so what I've got here is her birth chart, and I have to say, seeing the downfall of a big celebrity does make me excited, because I'm someone who in my younger years put these people on a pedestal, and it's nice to know that they are just regular people. If I were in their position, I'm sure I would be a big asshole as well. But yes, Blake Lively is acting like an asshole, or she has in the past. I think that celebrity and fame does some really weird stuff to people, but I want to just take a look at her birth chart and see what I see. So thank you for coming along on the ride, and let's go ahead and get into it. Okie dokie. So Miss Blake Lively has a Leo ascendant. So she's always had this really long, beautiful, big hair. And that's like the Leo's mane. A lot of times Leo ascendants have something spectacular about their hair, whether it's extra long, whether it's sandy colored like a lion's would be, or maybe it's just some interesting shape. It's an expression through their hair, an expression of self. Leo risings are also always quite likable. I actually have a best friend, shout out Kelsey, who is a Leo rising, and Blake Lively is her favorite celebrity. Leo risings are expressive and they're fun, and you want to be around them. So I understand why Blake Lively is so popular. Next, we're going to talk about Miss Lively's second house. She has a stellium in the second house, which makes me believe that she really values her things, her money, her security, her foundation in terms of wealth. People with a lot of placements in the second house tend to really like clothes and jewelry and nice fabrics in the home and big homes, and especially if you've got Venus, which Miss Lively has Venus in the 6th degree of Virgo. That's her Mercury. She's got Venus in her 2nd degree of Virgo, conjunct her Sun, conjunct her Mars. So Mars being the planet of action, Sun being the planet of self, Venus being the planet of beauty, Mercury being the planet of thoughts, even her moon, her innermost self. This is all in alignment with that second house of Virgo. So perfect things, perfect belongings, and perfect home, perfect appearance through the body, perfect body. So I could see also with that stellium in the second house, with the Venus especially, and even the moon in the second house, I could see Blake Lively at one point or throughout her career having some sort of bodily issues in terms of maybe needing to be perfect through her body. With the Virgo wants to be perfect. The Virgo is also very methodical, so let's give her flowers where she deserves them. No pun intended if you know about the It Ends With Us drama, but let's give Miss Blake Lively her flowers. This woman is a woman with a plan. She's able to lay out her goals and write out her plan in an order that makes sense, that can get shit done. I have no doubt in my mind that Miss Lively can get shit done. She's got, if you look here also, a lot of trine aspects, especially with that Neptune in the 6th house of work in the sign of Capricorn. So she's got her Mars, Sun, Venus, and Mercury, and her moon. So all of these planets are trine to her Neptune in the 6th house of Capricorn. So a hard worker in the film industry, because Neptune could indicate film industry, the beauty industry, the glamour. It's a glamorous side of things. It's the filter over the face. It's the makeup. It's the hair care. It's the extensions. It's this. It's the illusion to create beauty, which a lot of celebrities have. For example, Kim Kardashian, Ariana Grande, I believe Marilyn Monroe, all had that placement, that Neptune in their 1st house. Taking it over to the 6th house, I think that just means, especially trying to all of her personal planets, I believe that means that she is able to incorporate this Neptunian energy into her work that she is putting out into the world, that she plans to make money from in the beauty kind of realm, the illusion that she creates of herself. I don't think we really know who the real Blake Lively is, but I think that trine aspect is actually really nice. I think that the Neptune works for her. Anyway, let's continue on. All of these planets over in the 2nd house and the Neptune are creating a grand trine with Blake Lively's midheaven and Jupiter. So midheaven with Jupiter up at the top of the chart is just a really good indication of someone becoming a celebrity, someone who has a really prolific career. Jupiter is expansive. Midheaven is the career. Midheaven in the sign of Taurus is a career made from beauty, as Taurus is a Venus-ruled sign. And Jupiter is in the 29th degree of Aries. So I see Blake Lively going for every avenue available to her to bolster her career. I think Aries is the sign of the child. In the 29th degree, Aries is moving out of the sign of the child, but it's still kind of stuck there. So Jupiter in Aries is really blowing up that energy of like, this is the last defiance of the child before they move on to being more stable in the sign of Taurus. I think Jupiter in the 29th degree of Aries is almost stubbornly childlike. I do have someone in my life with the same exact placement who was born in a similar time. Love them to death, but I do find this almost unwillingness to grow up. No tea, no shade. Like I said, I enjoy Blake Lively, and I do see that unwillingness to grow up, almost that Peter Pan syndrome, is also trining these other aspects that she's got in her chart. Also, that's the fieriness. That's her luck comes from being outspoken, from being fiery. So, of course, there's going to be a few times where she says something, puts her foot in her mouth, as she has done in this cycle of press, and then in press that's been dug up from the past. And I'm not here to defend Blake Lively. I do think it's really yucky, some of the things that she's said and done in the past. But I would just say, for myself, I could see myself also getting wrapped up in the whole fame thing. So let's see what else we've got here. Chiron in the 11th house is going interesting. So we've also got a lot of stuff going on in Gemini right now, as in August 17th, 2024. That'll actually bring me to the transit chart, because I've made a transit chart for Miss Lively. Yes, so I've just switched over to that transit chart. In the sign of Gemini, we do have Jupiter coming through. We've got Mars coming through in that 11th house of her public image. Jupiter is opposite her natal Saturn. So I think it's just a rough time for Blake Lively. I think Jupiter opposite Saturn she's really trying to expand her career with all of the publicity with It Ends With Us, her new movie that's really garnering all of this critique. She's trying her best to expand. The Mars is up there in this 11th house of Gemini, but it's square to her natal Saturn, so there's going to be some restriction. There's going to be coming down to earth with all the promotion. As we look into her transit chart, we also see Venus is in her second house. Venus is actually exactly conjunct her natal Venus. So I think right now, when your Venus comes back around to your natal Venus, it's kind of hard to be, it's kind of hard to see outside of what material gains you want, especially if that's happening if your Venus return is happening in your second house. Material gains is everything. The material world, the luxury, the beauty, the most important thing to you in that moment, in that Venus return in your second house, is going to be comfort, stability, beauty, creativity. Not that that's a bad thing, but a lot of the world is not experiencing that right now. Blake Lively is getting her Venus return. She's getting a lot of money from this movie, and she's reaping those rewards. As Venus travels through her second house, previously conjuncted her Mars. Oh, excuse me. No, her Venus has just previously gone through all of those placements. Excuse me. So transit Pluto is at the very end of Capricorn and the beginning of Aquarius. And transit Pluto is retrograde, square exactly to her Jupiter sign, in which her Jupiter is conjunct her midheaven. Now Pluto square Jupiter, that's an intense transformational time. It could be really difficult. It could be very upheaving. It can bring up things about her past that she does not want everyone to see. It's happening in her 6th house, going into her 7th house. So really combining this energy with her career, 6th house of job, day-to-day work, her relationship with Ryan Reynolds, relationship with Justin Baldoni, the man that she's also wrapped up into this drama with. So 6th house, 7th house, wrapped up in that Pluto retrograde, squaring off to her 10th house, or 9th house, 10th house, Jupiter. It's, if she can grow from that, I think she can grow from this. I think it's an ugly time in her life, especially for her career. From the outward perspective, from what everyone's seeing about her, this is a hard time. Chiron is retrograde up there in her 9th house, 10th house area. This is just a time where she's supposed to be publicly shamed. This Pluto energy is intense, but she's going to get through it. I don't think this is the end for Blake Lively. I don't like what's come up about her. I think that she could stand to be a bit more humble, a bit more in tune with what's going on in the world. With that 5 personal planet stellium in the second house, I think she was born to be a material girl living in a material world. Can we blame her for what her chart says about her? I don't think so, but it would be good to see her grow from this time with this Jupiter square to her, or Jupiter square to transit Pluto. I think this is meant to happen, and I'm interested to see what happens next. But yeah, for now, she's also got Jupiter in her 11th house, so she's still making money from all of this. Mars in the 11th house. Mars is all about action in the public arena. She's all overexposed right now. So eventually Mars and Jupiter are going to move into her 12th house, and we're not going to see her for a while, and then it'll come back to her 1st house, and she'll kind of have a rebirth there. Saturn happening in the 8th house. I think some secrets are going to be uncovered for her that we're probably seeing now. Saturn retrograde in the 8th house. We're seeing some of the taboo things she said in the past. We're talking about the taboo nature of her wedding at the plantation. Yes. So there we go. I think the main aspect here in her transit chart is the Pluto square Jupiter. So if you have any questions about that, or you want to look it up for yourself, I would recommend Googling it. It's pretty interesting, especially happening there up in the top of her chart. We're all seeing this happen. Her day-to-day work ethic, the stuff that happens behind the scenes, that 6th house, and the combination of her and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, 7th house, squaring off to her public image. It's just not a good look. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Go ahead and subscribe, leave a comment if you'd like to see any more videos, and thanks and bye.